Welcome to the 7 Laws of the Learner video series. We're currently in Law 4, the Law of Retention. And now, here to tell you about the Law of Retention is our teacher, Dr. Bruce Wilkinson.
How do you take information that you want a person to have and turn it and reformulate it so that it goes right in that person's mind and they remember it, listen now, without trying to remember? How can you speed teach? How can you take information that you want a person to have in their mind and put it there so that they're not even paying attention, and then they discover, oh, I know that, and they know it? We're going to give you some of the ways that God does that with us. Isn't it remarkable? Isn't it remarkable that he said after the flood, I'm going to put up in the what? In the sky. What was it? So you won't. Well, isn't that interesting? You mean God himself wants to lock some things in his memory and my memory, and he uses a picture to do it. I wonder what would happen if you used pictures in your teaching to cement memory. I doubt if any one of us sat and concentrated, remember, the next time I see a rainbow, God said no more flood. Let's review that 10 times. Why don't you do that? He used a picture, and pictures have a way of going right in your head, and you got it. He also uses other methods, and before this law is over, you're going to know the main methods the Lord uses in teaching for retention, and then you can take those methods and apply them to any amount of information you want to put in a person's head. Pick which one of these methods he used out, use it on this content, and it'll go right in the person's mind. Now, it's important for all of us to realize this law isn't for every time you teach. This is kind of like a special tool you have. And when you want to say to yourself, this is a part of some information everybody needs to know, then you go back to this law and use it, and you'll be shocked at how well it works. Now, I would like to show you a picture. This is a picture we've had drawn, and I'm going to give you only 30 seconds to look at this picture. And then I'm going to ask you some questions. Please do not take notes. Do not say anything. Just look at the picture. On your mark, get set, go. I'm going to ask some questions now, and I'm going to ask Mary Lee right in the front row to put little check marks on her sheet of how many things you have learned in 30 seconds. Is there a person in the middle of the picture? A man or woman? Old or young? Standing or sitting? Does he have something in his hand? Yes or no? What does he have in his hand? What color is the apple? How many apples does he have? What is he doing with the apple? Is he standing on a bench or a chair? Is it a metal chair or a wooden chair? Is there somebody standing next to him? Boy or girl? Old or young? Is he doing anything? Oh, he's just standing there. That's right. What's right next to him by his feet? A dog. Is the dog facing this direction or this direction? Is his mouth open or closed? What's right here in the air? A cat. What color is the cat? Is the cat on the ground or in the air? What direction is the tail facing? Up or down? Up. That's right. What's right here? A bird cage. Are there any birds in it? How many birds? What color is the blue? Is the bird facing this direction or this direction? That's right, it's facing this direction. Okay, what's right here? A window. Is the window open or closed? Is there anybody in it? Man or woman? Old or young? Are there blinds or curtains? Curtains. Are the curtains closed or open? Does the woman have anything in her hand? What does she have in her hand? What kind of pie? An apple pie. That's that's great. What's right here? Swings. That's right. How many? 2. Are there anybody on them? How many? Boy or girl? Are they straight up and down or swinging? That's right. Now, what's across the bottom here? Above the flowers. A porch. Is it a cement porch or a wooden porch? Is the wood going this direction or this direction? This direction. That's great. What's across the bottom? Are they open or closed? What color are the leaves? What color are the petals? What color is the middle? Yeah. How many are there? That's great. What's right here? A turtle. That's right. Is that turtle's got its head in or out? Is there anything on the back of it? Yes. How many letters? What color are the letters? Yeah, and what does it spell? APL. Let's stop and ask Mary Lee. Mary Lee, how many questions did we ask? 58 questions. Now, how long did I teach that picture to you? 30 seconds. 58 facts. 80% of you got at least 50 of those facts. The average teacher, now hold on to this. The average teacher teaching for an hour, 50 minutes, teaches 10 facts or less. What do you mean by that? I mean, at the end of the hour, if you gave a quiz and see how many facts the class knows 10 new facts or less for a whole hour. I have a feeling that could be improved. And here's a method in which we took one picture. Now, here's how we would normally done. The name of today's lecture is The Old Man, the Grandfather on the Porch. Roman numeral number 1, the old man. Capital A. The man is sitting, small 1. He's sitting with some blue coveralls on, number 2. He's sitting on a yellow chair. Number 3, he has, see how we would have done it? And you'd have written 5 pages of notes. Right? It would have taken a whole hour. We showed the same thing in a picture. Where did we get the idea? The rainbow. The rainbow. I don't want you to forget this. Every time you see it, you have it. We're going to teach you how to do those and the other methods that are involved in that particular approach. Because, friends, I want you to know the earth is not flat. The earth is not flat. And you don't have to teach 10 facts an hour anymore. You see, people come to our classes as happy apples. Their funnels are open. And what happens is we begin to lecture and the words come pounding in through our little funnels, and they come in and they keep coming in and they keep coming in and they keep coming in until finally you have a stuffed apple. And then it comes time for the test and the person has to spew out all those words. What do you call that apple? You call that apple a crab apple. Now, my friends, what I want to try and show you is there's another way to teach. We don't have to do that to people that sit underneath us. And before I get you to the method, I'm going to show you the mindset. The mindset can be seen in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 to 9. Deuteronomy 6, 4 to 9. Let's quickly go through it. It says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and all of your might." Look at this. You shall love the Lord. How much? With all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your might. You want to be a great teacher? First starting place, love God. Love God. That's the lead domino in a whole string of dominoes that fall down. You want to be a really magnificent teacher? Love God with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your might. Why? Well, you'll see in a minute. If you love God, you are very concerned about what He said. And these words, which I command you today, shall be in your notes. Therefore, does the teacher supposed to know the material? Yes. This idea of coming up where the teacher has to read the material because they don't know it, but that's the test I'm going to give you next week. I expect you to know it, and I don't know it. Why don't I know it? Because I don't think it's that important anyway. Well, then why are you teaching it? Well, that's the way it's been done. We'll be talking about that in a minute. Now, how do you get the material that's in your heart into theirs? There are 4 levels that God reveals of teaching here. Number 1, you shall teach them, that's number 1, diligently to your children. 2, you shall talk of them, that's the second method. When you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. Big idea is all the time, talk about what you want them to know. 3, you shall bind them as a what? Sign. Whoa, this isn't something you lecture about. It's a sign on your hand and as frontlets between your eyes. What did that look like? Well, here's a little picture of that. And here's a Jewish individual. And God said to them, take and put a piece of the law in a little box, and put that little box right on your forearm right there, and then wrap it around with some tongs. And every time you're working, you realize that's what I believe and that's what I stand for. And anytime you see me teaching you, very subtly, I stand for this. You also put it right here in your forehead. Everywhere you go, people see what you stand for. It's a what? Sign. Can you teach through signs? Yes, all the time. And it also says, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall, number 4, write them on the doorposts of your house, where you live, and on your gates, many times where you work. In other words, that same idea of being a sign would be on the door of your house and on the gate where your livestock would be, so that people who walked alongside and saw where you live would say, oh, a person inside that place believes these things. It's a sign. There it goes from very diligent and very direct to very subtle. Let's see if we can't summarize that on the chart, the model of retention. In the left-hand box, put down the word speaker. And if we want to be honest to the text of Scripture, we have to put really the word parent. Where do you see this stuff? On the right-hand side, the whole goal of teaching is to go over to the student or the child. The Bible gives to us 2 different characteristics of the speaker. Number 1, love God. Number 2, know the Word. And that should be underneath that, the content. Love the Lord and know His Word. Now, what's the goal of all teaching? Isn't the goal of all teaching to take the love of God and the knowledge of the Word and just transfer it right over to that student? So what's the goal of it all? That your child will love God more than you do. And number 2, will know and obey the Word more than you do. Let him stand on your shoulders. Now, how do you do that? How does that transfer take place? 4 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Level 1, teach. And the word there is teach how? Diligently. When you teach diligently, you, the teacher, are in charge. You have the agenda, you have the schedule, you are the one who's in control. When we're teaching this class, we're in box 1, teach diligently. Box 2, talk. Now that's informal, because the verse said, when you walk, when you sit, when you lie down. And I think the word there is informally. And the concept there is it's all the time you're doing it. Now that takes place, friends, both when I talk with you and when you talk with me. And the next one, number 3, I like to call this personal reminder. A personal reminder. This is something I wear. What could that be? It could be some jewelry. It could be a pin. It could be that I pray in public. I'll never forget coming back from a trip late at night, and our family was there, and Jenny, my daughter, and I went into the restaurant at McDonald's to get some to eat, and everybody else stayed in the car. She sat down, and I was getting the food, and she comes running up to me, Dad, look over there.